So for those of you, I would assume that most people have saw um, by now the incident that happened at Sesame Street Place Parade. So this is out of Bucks County Courier Times, and it's by a Joe Sil. Now I may not be saying this, but it's Bucks County Courier Times. So Joe Cia Vaglia Arcia Vaglia, and this article was released Wednesday, July the 27th, 2022. And so it's about a 6 minute read. So it actually gives the time, how long it takes to get through the article. It's not very long, but a lot of people have witnessed on CNN, on MSNBC, and most news, ABC News, Fox News, I'm sure probably has aired it. There's been some other news outlets, which direction they go on the situation is entirely up to that station on who their target audience is. And so law firms are representing that a Baltimore man and his daughter are pursuing a class action lawsuit against Sesame Street Place in Middletown for pervasive and appalling race discrimination against children who are park guests. And so the civil lawsuit filed on Wednesday in the U.S. District Court in Philadelphia comes a little more than a week after a Brooklyn, New York woman posted a video of a costume performer at the theme park allegedly dismissing her daughter and the niece, but interacting with guests of other races. July 16 visit. And this was during that time. So though the original 9-second video posted on social media led other parents to post at least a half a dozen similar videos allegedly showing the same Sesame Street Place employees. They were in character costume, ignoring the black children while interacting with children of other races. So the attorney Malcolm Ruff is joined at the podium by Kendi Burns of Baltimore during a press conference announcing a federal discrimination lawsuit against Sesame Street Place on July 27, 2022 in Philadelphia. So this is not a first time or an isolated incident, as those who are used to saying whenever there's a race incident or an incident involving race, it's always something isolated, so it's easy to ignore it. But however, when you see multiple parents and other individuals that have went to similar events experience the same issue, it isn't isolated. So here is pictured the niece and the daughter, which is a screenshot of Jody Brown of Brooklyn, New York, a video showing her and the daughter and the niece moments before she says they were snubbed or ignored by Rosita, which is a character on Sesame Street and Sesame Street Place in Middleton, Philadelphia. PA. So the allegations of racial discrimination have generated a firestorm of controversy for the park and its operators that has included calls for boycotts of the park and requests for the Congressional Black Caucus and the NAACP to meet with executives of SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, which owns and runs this particular park. So the Sesame Street Place Workshop, which owns and licensing the rights to the TV show characters, has been in active dialogue with SeaWorld to urge them to take immediate significant action, including thoroughly reviewing the policies and procedures and training addressing concerns voiced by families. So these are some other related articles that have to do with this incident. So more on the Sesame Street snub incident. Attorneys for the mom behind Sesame Street Place video call for the park owners to do the right thing. New York mom alleges Rosita snubbed girls at Sesame Street Place, blames Rosita costume issues for snub that mom calls racist in the viral video. So going on with this article, it says in the lawsuit which seeks class action status, Quentin Burns and his daughter Kendi, who are black, allege that they were discriminated against during a Father's Day visit to the park. This was June the 8th. So this is a whole nother family that says that they have also experienced racial discriminating. So Kendi was forced to experience racism at the age of 5. This is unacceptable, and we will not stand by and let this continue, said the attorney Malcolm Ruff at an afternoon news conference in Philadelphia. So according to the lawsuit, Burns and Kendi attempted to participate in meet and greet at the park featuring employees in the costume playing the characters of Elmo, Ernie, Telly, Monster, and Abby Kadabi. Okay, but Burns alleges the performers initially refused to interact with them and ignoring them, and all of the other black guests that were in attendance as well, according to the suit, is what it says, which names SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, it's a limited liability company, and four unidentified, or LLC company, four unidentified park costume wearing performers as well. So they have not identified the people who were in costume during these incidents. And so in a statement released Wednesday evening, Sesame Street Place said that it would review the lawsuit and look forward to addressing its claims through the established legal process. So we are committed to deliver an inclusive, equitable, and entertaining experience for all our guests, the statement has added. So the lawsuit alleges that SeaWorld engages in pervasive and appalling race discrimination against children in the operation of the Bucks County theme park, a violation of federal and Pennsylvania law. So while the Burns family is primarily the plaintiff in this suit, if the federal judge certifies the case as a class action lawsuit, the suit would allow numbers of class members to join, which means a class action lawsuit. That means other families who have been are alleged discriminated by the same organization of Sesame Street Place can also sue for the same issues or similar issues such as discrimination against their children. So a 29-second video released, this is another video apparently released on Wednesday night, appears to show employees dressed in Elmo and Ernie costumes during a parade Passover, and in Passover, Kendi has stretched out her arms for a high five. So she stretched out her arms, but then they only interact with the white children next to her. So we have seen a pattern of this. So there's a pattern that is showing. Everyone in America has seen this pattern, Huff says. So the attorney with the Baltimore civil rights law firm that represented the family of Freddie Gray and said that they want to see SeaWorld to voluntarily release complaints that they have received from black parents about discriminating against their children. So we are here to give Sesame Street Place the opportunity to do the right thing without us forcing them to do so. So this was said by Mark Harris, an attorney from Harrisburg. So this will be a message to stop it before we catch it. So in a series of the statements earlier this month, Sesame Street Place has apologized to Brown and called the incident unacceptable. And so they have also acknowledged anytime they say unacceptable, they saw these videos and they acknowledge there is something seriously wrong. There's a pattern here. So the Brown family is not associated with the lawsuit filed. This was filed on Wednesday. But the incident Jody Brown shared on social media has sparked controversy as well. So around treatment of the minority children that attend that park. And it led Burns to come forward as well. So the park said that it is reviewing its practices to identify immediate and long-term changes, has hired a nationally recognized expert to assist them, and has implemented new mandatory bias training for employees. Now, why would they do that if something wasn't wrong? You don't have to do all of this right here and implement mandatory bias training if you don't see anything wrong. So they are admitting there is something seriously going on there. So neither Sesame Street Place or SeaWorld responded to emails seeking comment on those reported talks of Rosita, performer who allegedly ignored Brown's daughter and a niece, has been disciplined. So in its initial statement, the park said the employee was devastated to learn of this misunderstanding, is what they are phrasing it. So attorney Billy Murphy, also representing Burns in the lawsuit, said that what happened at Sesame Street Place is not only about how it affects the children, but parents as well, in many ways, have been more grievously injured because they understand the impact of discrimination upon their children. So Murphy said that the racism is horrible when perpetuated against adults, but it's another category when it's perpetuated against children. So I'm hurting, devastated, me and my wife. Just looking at her face, it makes me want to cry every time I see it. Quentin Burns said at the news conference he attended in Philadelphia with his daughter. And so his attorney said that the lawsuit seeks compensation for the family to punish SeaWorld, to obtain a declaration for the federal courts that SeaWorld violated civil rights, and an injunctive relief to force SeaWorld to change the policy. So a spokeswoman for the attorney representing Jody Brown, the mom, whose cell phone video has been viewed more than 880,000 times since it was posted, said that on Wednesday the talks are continuing with SeaWorld and Sesame Street Place leadership. So the Brown family has called for the termination of the performer who ignored her daughter and her niece, and the significant changes in the park policy and employee training as well on top of it. So Brown contends that the performer in the Rosita costume intentionally rejected a hug request from the daughter and the niece, and instead high-fived adults and children of different races on the other sides of them. So, an additional article to this: parents allege performer snubbed kids. More videos emerged showing apparent racial snubs of children at the Sesame Street Place. So there are other children. This is coming out. This was not just an isolated incident, and it gets worse and worse and worse as it goes. So it's just so that these people had a video of it, and they also were able to see that this is from comparing other parents and other children that have gone through this, that this is something that is an ongoing basis of discriminating children of color. So Brown's attorney, by Ivory Lamar, also has claimed that multiple families with similar negative experiences with character performers have reached out to his law office since Brown posted her video on Twitter and Instagram. A South Central Pennsylvania man who is black has posted a video of what he says shows an employee wearing an Elmo costume ignoring his 5-year-old daughter's high five request during the July 4th visit to the theme park. And so more videos are surfacing. So an Instagram video has 30,000 views as to Friday morning. On Saturday, about 24 protesters peacefully rallied outside the park for several hours Two New Jersey men were arrested after repeatedly attempting to block traffic while yelling expletives at the police and guests. Staff writer Damon Williams contributed to this report. And so there's other articles that are surfacing all over the place and other videos resurfacing or surfacing everywhere since this one incident that people are quickly probably to write off as an isolated incident is becoming a whirlwind of discrimination that has gone on for quite some time against children that are black. So York dad alleges Sesame Street character snubbed York fathers joins a chorus of parents who say Sesame Street Place characters snub black children. So protester arrested, two arrested during the Sesame Street Place protest over these viral videos. So, and that's what they're in the business of doing, arresting people who are speaking out. They're doing a show of constitutional rights. And so they have a right to protest. They have a right to be disappointed and upset and saddened because where do black people learn racism? It starts early. It starts at the schools. It starts at events like this. It starts in as early as, teachers telling you, oh, you're not good enough to be a pilot. You're not good enough to be in aerospace. You're not good enough to be at SpaceX. But you're good enough to be at the grocery store. You're good enough to be a taxi cab driver. You're good enough to be, some lower end job. It starts early. These are not isolated events, folks. These events have been going on for quite some time and they are pervasive. It has gone on even before all of the Sesame Street Park Place has taken place. There have been multiple black children that have been abused due to racism issues, and it has happened all too often. And so this is not an isolated incident, and we are learning this. These incidences are very, 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 very pervasive and very frequent, and they happen often. And so this is sad, and this is what is the world that we live in here in America that discriminates black children.